Welcome back, friends, to another reading for the collective. My name is Ross, and I pop on here every Tuesday and Thursday to offer these readings. Like I say, I like to think of these as storytelling, not fortune telling. I don't presume to know the future, certainly not. And if there is something that you have had a concern about, whether it be in the future or the past, I invite you to think into that, feel into that, and we will see what kind of alternative information the cards can provide. So we'll take 3 deep breaths into that sensation and breathe out, giving a little sound, a hum, a moan, a groan, something like that. So breathing in and out. 2 more times, breathing in and out. And last time, breathing in and out. So, what brings you here today, my friends? What do the cards want to say to you? What information do you need? What do they want to say? There is, in my own energy, there's a lot of sadness. And we'll see if that influences the reading in any kind of way. So what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like it might be one of those classic week spreads. Now, this is going up on Thursday, and on Friday there is a new moon. So it is a time of planting your intentions, planting those seeds, setting what you want in motion. This energy is timeless, though. This reading is timeless. So, how I want to do this do it like this. So, you've seen these before, and if not, you can check here. But we'll say that this card is you. This is how you're coming into this week. And it's not necessarily literally Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but the idea of transformation, of progression, of what you'll be moving through in the upcoming season, in the upcoming future, in the near future. It could be 7 months, it could be 7 hours. So, Hierophant or Hierophant reversed. When we see this upright, we can think of it as, I like to think of it as the dogmas of religion. We've got the Pope-like character here with the 2 acolytes down below, the idea of Trinity. And with it reversed, it seems to be that confirmation of something that definitely came up in the last reading, but has come up in several of these readings recently, about reevaluating your relationship with, in this case, with dogma, with structures, with what you view as divine. I said this is, and when we think of the word, when we think of the pronunciation of the word Hierophant, I like to think of it as your higher self. So, what is your higher self offering to you at this time? If it's not expansion, if it's not love, then maybe it's not your higher self. Maybe it's your ego masquerading, wearing that spiritual badge. It's very interesting. So let's see, with that as the frame, what this week is going to be looking like. A redefining of your beliefs in dogma, in systems and structures, and your beliefs. Magician coming in hot, you have the power. You have the power to change those thoughts. You always have the power to change your mind. Have you ever gone somewhere to eat and then decided, oh no, I want to go somewhere else? Same kind of thing. And it's always, this isn't a fixed state. We've got the infinity symbol above the magician's head here. It's not static, it's always moving. It's always this time of calling down the lightning from heaven and grounding it into the material world. And you're doing that. You're doing that just by the very nature of choosing how you want to look at the things in your life with that reevaluation and the reevaluations that have been present in the last few readings. So, chapeau to you. Let's move this out a little bit. Go. Okay. So that's where we find you today. Really stepping into that powerful manifester, transmuter energy. Well done. Justice next. All these, what do we call them? All these major arcana coming up here. And there's this idea of balance with the scales here and the sword facing straight up, not unlike the Queen of Swords, and the idea of that straightness pointing to big T truth, capital T truth, and understanding that it is a balancing act, that the big T truth, the God, the the divine spark, the big bang, whatever you want to call it, all of that predates all of this, all of this, all of this. These things, and even those things and these things out here, those are all pointing to something that cannot be named. And it will never have a name because it's names, words, that's all very egoic. That's all very 3D. And it's not to say that words are bad or wrong or anything like that, but the very nature of defining something as, you know, as the justice card versus the magician card, that's the ego. That's definition. That's filtering. That's saying this is one thing, that is another. And whenever there is that divide, we can be sure that we're acting from the ego. Now, justice coming up with the Hierophant reversed and the magician, it seems to me to be saying that accepting the value in the systems and structures where appropriate. And it's not saying that you have to sign up for those systems and structures or those dogmas. It's just saying that, all right, if religion makes you be a better person, then does it really matter what the religion is? As long as you are acting with the intention of the greatest healing and the highest good of all, then the trappings, call it Buddhism, call it Hinduism, call it Taoism, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter. And the invitation here is to step back from that, to separate your own judgments about what religions should be, what structures should be, but also understanding that you have the power to change your perception of those structures. And maybe it is just that. Maybe it is just looking at them as, oh, this is a way of connecting, groovy. Let them have it. I'm going to grab my cord to plug this in. BRB. All right. So, it's going to be a big week. Off to a big start. Let's see where else we're going. The world. but it's reversed. And that does kind of speak to this idea of, especially, and I'm talking about myself here, if you've built up judgments about systems and structures, whether they be faith based or bureaucracy based, that can really turn your world upside down. I don't think this is a bad thing. Ah, confirmation yawn. It's not a bad thing. It's just confirmation that you are looking at things differently, that you are seeing things from a different perspective. But we still have this red sash kind of representing the infinity symbol here, as well as the magic wand in the world dancer's hand. They're still doing the magic. It's still this process. The world continues to spin. This is just confirmation that you are looking at things differently. Two of Wands coming back out, came out in the last reading. And it's that same kind of idea of isolation, of boredom, of when you are able to remove yourself from the narrative that so much of society is playing into without judgment. Just, that's the way that societies do. Yeah, it can feel isolating. It can feel lonely. And you can feel like you've grasped this greater truth by holding the globe in your hand, holding the world in your hand, holding that new perspective. And now it's like, what do you do? What do I do with this? I've created this structure of my own dogma, we could say, my own beliefs, and now I want to share that. Or how do I share that? Am I supposed to share that? Let's see. 2 and 2 coming up. Two of Wands followed by the Two of Pentacles. And the infinity again here. So we've got the infinity in the Magician, the two infinities in the world in those red sashes, and the infinity here in the Two of Pentacles. And the message that's coming through with this question is, how do I share it, or am I supposed to share it? The idea is, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. And this is kind of referencing the idea about this is a temp job, this life here. Yes, you need to take it seriously, but you need to take it seriously in the sense of doing your work, doing your healing, upending those old beliefs that no longer serve you. But it doesn't have to be something austere. And this was something that came through in meditation recently. And I don't know if I mentioned it here or elsewhere, but the difference between sacred and stuffy, sacred and austere, the faith behind the faiths. So the invitation here is to have fun, to keep that idea of lightness, of levity as you go through this. Six of Wands coming up reversed. It might feel like I've been doing the work. I've been doing all of this stuff, and now you're just going to tell me to have fun and keep it easy breezy, beautiful. Cover squirrel. That's what the cards are saying. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not your dad. When we see the 6 upright, we can think of community. We can think of victory, whether going off to a battle or returning from a battle. With it reversed, it is that idea of defeat. And it certainly is an ego defeat if you think you're doing all this work for naught. The doing of the work is the point. And that doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be a sad defeat. It can just be the opportunity to look at things another way, even the idea of defeat. So how's this week ending? 15-15 as I'm saying this. Yeah. You're putting down the sticks. You're stopping the fighting. 5 of Wands, upright. The fives are all about the energy of the fire and the going. And it's interesting. We've got the 3 Wands here, and we're right in the thick of Aries season. There's something like 6 or 7 planets or points in Aries right now. Um, yeah, and this is just, playing with sticks, goofing off, the kind of idea. But with it reversed, it seems to suggest that you're not looking at the play as spinning your wheels, or you're not looking at the play as something superfluous. You're looking at it as the point. And I'm reminded of that Alan Watts quote that goes something like, the real secret of life is to not see the things as work, but to see life as play. Or, like I was saying, to not see this as a serious job, but as a temp job. Because joy and peace and love are what all of these things, all of the dogmas are pointing at. And they just get lost and muddled in translations, mistranslations, we could even say. But joy, the dancing, the play, the foolishness, we could even say, the magic of life comes in that releasing of it being, having to be a certain way or look a certain way. Big week, no big deal. Just rewriting old patterns and looking at things in a new way. So bring it on home for us, Hafiz. What have we missed? What's something that we can... There it is. Ha ha ha. Dance. 17 turns into 8, which is, we will say that that is our 5th infinity symbol, right? 1 above the magician, the 2 in the sashes of the world, the infinity in the 2 of Pentacles, and 7 turned into 8, infinity symbol sideways. Dance. Dear ones, anoint this earth with dance. Dance the rhythm of your joy, dance the dirge of your pain, dance your hopes and fears with wild abandon. Move your body in the ecstasy of release, knowing that greater holds you in the womb of its love, and that your very cells dance with the pulse of that embrace. Forget all else and dance yourself free. Dance yourself free. Dance yourself free from the structures. Dance yourself free from the structures others have put on you, but also the structures that you've put on yourself that no longer serve you. Dance yourself free from the ideas of what victory and defeat look like, and dance yourself free. And that feels complete. So we'll cap it there. I just want to thank you for tuning in. And if you found value in this, feel free to like and subscribe so more folks can experience the magic. And if you found value in this, feel free to share it with someone else who you might think might find value in it. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest on the table. And until next time, my friends, I wish you nothing but peace, love, and happiness from this day forward. And I'll see you back here next time for another reading for the collective. Take care.